This is Dr. Neufeld with my presentation of Back to School Night. For those who weren't able to attend, thank you very much for contacting me to say you would still like to know what I shared with all the parents. So I'm going to do this real quick presentation, but thank you for contacting me. First of all, I always like to share the fact that I was born and raised here in the South Bay. My dad's family came to the United States from Russia. And this is my dad right here. And my mom's family came to the United States from Mexico. And this is my mother right here. My mom and dad met in Oklahoma. And they married and came to California. And I was born and raised just a few miles away from here. So I was born and raised here in the South Bay. But when I look back at my family, I feel very fortunate I was able to go on to school. Half of my aunts and uncles were able to complete only up to 8th grade because they were needed to work back in the fields right away as the family was growing. So I'm the first in the family to go on to education, and I feel very fortunate that I spent 15 years in college after high school. And that's why the techniques that I teach in my classroom is to prepare all students, not just for college, but for a career where they're going to need the skills, whether or not they go on to college. But again, I feel very fortunate to have gone on to 3 different universities to get my degrees and credentials. In 7th grade world history, the reason I love this subject so much is what I'm able to teach. We start with the fall of the Roman Empire. We moved on to the beginning of the religion Islam, such an important subject to teach today in our society. Then we move on to Asia. We talk about China, the dynasties in China at that time, the shoguns in Japan. Then we move on to Africa, where we learn about the beginning of mankind and how travel started and trade started. Then we go back into Europe to the time of the Middle Ages, when the Roman Empire collapsed and everything fell apart in Europe. From there, we continue with the time when the Middle Ages came to an end and the Renaissance started. This is the time of great artists like Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Such a fascinating subject to cover. Then we proceed on to the Incas, Aztecs, and Mayans in the Americas. We also cover a very important topic in our society today, the split in the Christian religion, the spread of Roman Catholicism and Protestantism. So that's what we cover in 7th grade world history. But if we're going to know all of this and understand where it's happening, geography is very important. So about 8 years ago, I started a geography quiz every Friday. And you may know that this year, after our second week of school, we already had a quiz, only 13 places. But by the end of the year, our final quiz is going to cover 169 places around the world of the 193 countries. So I want to give you just a quick look at what our final geography quiz is going to look like. It's going to be, again, 169 places. There are 6 pages for the quiz. Here's page 1, where we cover the continents and bodies of water. Page 2, where we cover so many countries in Europe. Page 3, when we move on to Asia, both Eastern Asia, which is China, Japan, Korea, etc., and Western Asia, like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Our 4th page is where we move on to Africa, where religion is spread in many different ways, but trade was different, and where mankind started. So that's page 4 of 6 of our final geography quiz. Page 5 is to cover North America and South America, where the Incas, Aztecs, and Mayans were, but in particular, also the very small countries of Central America. So that's our final geography quiz of the year. Now, when I first started this quiz, I said to the students you only had to get 60 right to get an A. So many students got an A. The next year I increased it to 70. The next year to 80, and yet so many students still get A's that I waited until now. I've reached the point of 120. Students now have to get 120 right to get an A, but even then, 80% of the students the last 2 years earned an A. Now, I know that this must be working because students come back from high school and college and tell me how this has really helped them in their future. In fact, at our back to school night this year, 5 students came back. All 5 said that in their freshman year at high school, they took AP Geography. AP class is a college class in the high school level. All 5 students said they took AP Geography class and passed. All 5 students also either took AP World History in 10th grade or Honors History. So again, This is what I'm preparing my students at Team USC at Adams to be able to succeed in high school, college, and beyond. One thing that's really important is to enjoy world history. So many students say they think it's just all this old stuff in the past. Well, one way that I like to make it enjoyable, but to show how important it is connecting the past with the present. One example is right now is on the geography quizzes. We've had this big hurricane in the Bahamas, so that's part of our geography, what's happening there. So again, link the past with the present. Also, we had Friday the 13th this past week. Friday the 13th and that term of bad luck goes back 700 years. So I presented that to the students. Why do we think that Friday the 13th is a day of bad luck? And let them know why. All these other aspects of world history is important, but also I appreciate the diversity in what we study, but even in our school and our own society. I asked all the students on the first week of school how many of you were born in this country, and about 3/4 raised their hand. I was born in this country. I then asked the students how many of your parents were born in this country, and about 1/3 to 1/2 raised their hands. My parents were born in this country. But then my third question was how many of your grandparents were born in this country? And in almost all of my classes, not a single student raised their hand, including me. So that shows that we're all immigrants to this country, and that's why I like teaching about diversity from the different places from which we came. Also very important is grading. So I do post grades quite frequently, so parents, please check your parent portal. If you ever have any questions, then feel free to email me, dojo me, or give me a call. And that's where Class Dojo comes into place. It's such a great means of communication. I'm so glad that 97% of the parents in all the classes join Dojo. But parents, please don't just join Dojo, but check your messages every day. Besides giving good awards to students who participate in class discussion, turn in all their assignments, I also give minus points for those who don't do their homework. So parents, if your child did not do their homework assignment on a particular day, I send you a message right away. So check Class Dojo. It's a great app to have on your phone. I think the most important thing, though, that you can use in helping your child as they proceed through middle school is my website. I have all of these aspects on my website that I change every single day, and I'll show you how it can help your student in school. So let me go on to my website. If you go to my website, drneufeld.com, this is what the website looks like. Here's a picture. I change the picture every day so you know if the picture has changed. Also, real quick, these are all the places I've been around the world. That's why I love sharing information about the different places as we study these different aspects of the world. Here are the important parts. I'm not going to show you everything, just the main parts. If you go to daily updates and then to podcast, this is where I posted every day what we've done in class. So here's Friday the 13th. I gave Geography 3. It's due on Monday. This is the video that I showed that explains about Friday the 13th. But if you go through, you will find everything since the first day of school that I gave. All the homework assignments. I put in text what we did in class. So this is a great way to see what's happening every day. Another good way to check is to look here at the agenda. This is what the students see when they walk in the room, and this is what they put on their Google Keep. This is their calendar. So we have Geography 3 due on Monday. Another way to check it is go to Daily Updates and Upcoming Events. This is a calendar that I keep updated every day. Tell you what is due and when. That goes over the next 2 months. Another important element here is our Spiral TFC. That is our table of contents. We have a spiral notebook with content for every unit. And right now we're up to assignment number 6. This has due dates, how many points it's worth, where it is in your spiral, etc. Now, I have 2 videos here. This lower video is to show students what it takes to get an A on the spiral. This video is how to create our table of contents. Now, it was quite complex to create our very first table of contents, and there were some students who were absent. So play that video, and you could see what it takes to create our table of contents. Other elements here is the handbook planner that you received, use of proofreader's marks I use on writing assignments in class. We have class leadership positions, care cash or rewards, how you can cut a comic that's related to world history, bring it in, and I give you extra credit. I love looking for comics in the newspaper. Now, our unit they're on right now is geography. We've already covered continents and bodies of water, cardinal and ordinal numbers. We're going to cover Roman numbers on Monday, but let me show you what it looks like. This is the slideshow that I put on for every assignment. Here's explaining Roman numbers, how they're read, how we create them, what we add to the right and to the left, what Roman numbers look like, and some practicing. So this is on my website for those students who are absent. Also, this helps if I went a little too fast and students want to review it again. It's on my website. Down below on all of my PowerPoints is usually 1 to 3 videos about how to create that assignment. So again, that could help students who need help on that activity. Now with geography, I also just posted geography video clips. Now that we're moving from continents to countries, here's some video clips that really help some students with their studying and getting ready for our next quizzes. So students can watch these at any time. They're going to be posted all year long. Video clips about geography. There's also some songs here. Songs is a good way to remember what countries are in what area. So here's some music about continents of the world, countries of the world in different areas. So these are great videos to hear. Now, when we finish geography, we're going to move on to chapter 2 about the Roman Empire. Just like geography, there's going to be many different pages down below. I don't post them, though, until we've covered that assignment. I don't post it in advance. But at the end of every term, I do like to watch a movie related to whatever we studied. And after we studied the Roman Empire already, I like showing the fantastic movie called Gladiator. So this is where, as parents, you can view the trailer a little early. And I send out a permission slip on each film to see if it's okay for you to show this film to your child. Now, I do have an elective class. We also have team pictures, but this is my website, drneufeld.com. So you could always be looking at this and remind your son or daughter this is changed every day so it can help them with homework assignments. So again, I'm glad that you wanted to learn more information about back to school night since you weren't able to make it. So thank you very much. There's one other video below about what is inside my classroom. After you've seen both videos, then go lower on my page and there's an email address. If you can tell me what you got out of this presentation, then I will give your child some extra credit. So thank you very much for checking out this video. If you ever have any questions, please email me, call me, or send me a dojo message. Thanks.